The city has 4 utilities: electric, treated water, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer, with assets valued at $803 million. Storm sewer is managed like a utility, but currently charged on your property taxes. Agricultural water is managed within the water utility. One of the city's main responsibilities is ensuring that residents have dependable and sustainable utilities in the long term. Your monthly utility bills provide funding for the operation of each utility, as well as provide capital to maintain or replace infrastructure. This capital is saved over time in reserves, so we have the funds when we need them. Every 4 years or so, the city reviews its utility rates to ensure they are competitive and that they provide the necessary funding to keep our utilities going now and into the future. This year, the city hired Intergroup to conduct this review, and the results will be used to inform the rates over the next 4 years. The utility rate review has identified a path forward to ensure financial sustainability in a measured way, with predictable increases for each utility over the next several years. Before the rates are set, Council wants to ensure you are aware of the findings of this work, what it means to you, and to hear your feedback. This video highlights what you need to know in order to participate. So what did we learn? Over the past few years, the electrical utility rates have been reduced or held steady. This provided relief during the pandemic, but it is not sustainable into the long term. At the same time as we kept our increases down, our costs went up, especially for the electrical utility. Roughly 90% of our operating cost is the cost of bulk power from FortisBC. FortisBC increased their rates by close to 14% over the past 3 years, and the city did not pass on those increases. It is the equivalent of using your savings account to pay for your mortgage, which is an ongoing cost, as opposed to your roof replacement, which is a one-time cost. We also learned that currently there is approximately a 12% subsidy to the operating and maintenance costs of the agricultural water utility, and that in all of our utilities, there are some customer classes that do not accurately reflect the cost of providing the service. The report includes 6 key recommendations to ensure the long-term financial sustainability of our utilities. First, the recommendation is to implement rate increases that support the city's asset management investment plans. The review is recommending rate increases that will ensure there is sufficient funding in our reserves when we need it, to replace or renew our infrastructure over the long term. This is best practice. This also ensures that customers today are paying for the average life of the assets that they are using. The second recommendation is that the city set the rates for each utility customer class to reflect the cost of service for that sector. The review recommends adjustments to the various customer classes to ensure each customer class is paying the appropriate amount relative to the cost of providing the service, and therefore ensuring that one class is not subsidizing the other. Number 3, introduce an inclining rate structure for residential customers with a 3/4-inch meter to encourage conservation. An inclining rate structure is a commonly used tool to encourage conservation. The idea is that customers pay a lower rate for water that is typically consumed as an essential need, while water that is used for more discretionary purposes is a higher rate. With an inclining rate structure, higher consumers pay more. Alternatively, the city could choose to continue to charge the same rate for all residential customers. This would mean all residents pay the same, regardless of if you have a hot tub or pool or not. Number 4, increase agricultural water rates to cover 100% maintenance and operations funding. Agricultural water rates are currently subsidized by 12%, and it is recommended that this subsidy be eliminated such that the rates cover 100% of the operations and maintenance costs. Capital costs will still be subsidized. However, the review did also recommend this be studied and reconsidered in the future. The alternative is to continue the current practice, which subsidizes agricultural water by 12%. Number 5, update reserve policies. The report recommends the city update its reserve policies to reflect the balances needed to support future asset management plans. This includes setting minimum and optimal reserve balances to reflect the long-term asset management investment plans. This updated policy would increase transparency and provide clarity as to why the funds are being collected and saved. It will also help put into context the reserve balances relative to the large asset values that the city holds. Number 6, formalize the process for calculating the electrical dividend and its utilization into a city policy. It is recommended that the city create a policy outlining how the dividend from the electrical utility is calculated and used for funding capital projects. The report recommends the dividend be set at 8.5% to 10% of the budgeted electrical utility revenues, which aligns with other utilities. This funding is then available for capital projects, which would otherwise require funding through taxation. There you have it, 6 proposed changes to ensure the long-term financial sustainability of our utilities. These rates provide the funding needed to both operate our utilities today, as well as replace our assets in the future while keeping our rates competitive. The increase will still be lower than neighboring municipalities when we compare to their rates in 2023, and we expect to be even more competitive relative to those same communities when we compare to their 2024 proposed rates, which are not yet available. Now it's over to you. What do you think about what is proposed? Let us know before September 15th at shapeyourcitypenticton.ca.